CJ Stroud, we mentioned he had a bit of a rocky start this year. And then also, last year he had a bit of a sophomore slump. Is he still one of the best young QBs in the AFC, or is there now cause for concern?
I think this is the point in which you start looking at CJ Stroud and you start thinking you need to see a little bit more because especially when it's on prime time, it is so much more elevated. And what we've seen from CJ Stroud over the last year and a couple weeks now has just not been very good. You look at making the playoffs his first year and putting up a fight against Kansas City. You think that this could be one of the best quarterbacks in the league for years to come. And then that sophomore slump it does hit quarterbacks, but to be so drastic was a little bit absurd. And it just feels like he's just flat out missing some throws and he just doesn't look very good. It doesn't feel like this is a team where he can carry on his own. And it's not like he has to do it on his own. That defense came in up clutch multiple times in that Buccaneers game. They made multiple stops. Will Anderson played really well. And they got the ball back to the Texans. Even their special teams unit played very well in that game against the Buccaneers, that is. And it just, they couldn't figure it out on offense. Nick Chubb got that burst in it. It is partially because it wasn't the case last year because Joe Mixon had a pretty good year, but this year they have no run game. Nick Chubb isn't the guy he once was, and that rushing game was stagnant for an extended period of time on a Monday Night Football. But Nico Collins, 3 catches for 52 yards. A lot of that wasn't on him. A lot of the, some of it was when they targeted him 2 times in the end zone, couldn't come up with either of them. One of them was a bad throw. One of them he probably could have made a play on. But still, I think he had 9 passes in his direction. You only had 3 of them. Some of those were because of ball, some of them were because of Nico, but it just doesn't it doesn't feel like CJ Stroud has it all together. And last year would have been the time for him to, if anything, to make another jump because he had Stephon Diggs, he had Nico Collins, and then also just the whole everything around him was good enough. At least I know the offensive line, there were some questions behind it, and there still are. But man, it isn't looking good. And like we just mentioned in the Tua conversation, there are just so many quarterbacks in the AFC now that if you start lagging behind, there are some serious concerns, and it doesn't look good, especially because the Colts could be for real in that conference now. Who knows what Trevor Lawrence is going to really look like, but he's made some improvements this year, so we'll see. But the conversation with Nico Collins or CJ Stroud is starting to get a little bit louder for sure.
Yeah, I've definitely seen a lot of people blaming CJ Stroud, and now we have a fair sample size, a sample size larger than his rookie season, and I definitely think the concerns are warranted. Now, do I think that he is not going to be able to get back to his rookie season form ever again? No, I just can't really make that observation just yet. But if halfway through this year, this is still going on, then I'm going to probably potentially end up flipping. But I would say 3 or 2 games in rather, probably not there just yet, but there's definitely a concern. Now, obviously his offensive line is a bit of a concern, but he's kind of had to deal with that anyway, in his first year. So I look at it more so that we're nitpicking as the season goes on, yes, but at the same time, he definitely has shown some signs of regression. I have his stats from his rookie year: 23 touchdowns, 5 picks, 4,100 yards. Last year still wasn't really that bad. It just wasn't an improvement, and it potentially was a step back. So you could call it a sophomore slump, and I wouldn't argue with that at all. But it wasn't the worst season ever. He still had 3,700 yards, 20 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, and while you potentially did see a drop off, it's not the biggest thing in the world. He's still, I would say, 20 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. I still feel like that's a decent line. And then this year, obviously, you only got 1 touchdown, 1 pick. That's going to have to be addressed.
Yeah, I mean, when it is such a drastic difference from that first year, it is unfortunate too, because the expectations weren't as high on CJ Stroud either. He did have high expectations coming in, but he exceeded them by a lot. So going into that second season, you're looking for a lot more. And then you throw 3 less touchdowns, and then you also throw 7 more interceptions. It's what is going on? What happened? So I feel like that's a lot of what happened with, especially because his weapons improved. His offensive line didn't get any better, but the people that he had to throw around to were better. And then also it's just that division is so bad that them struggling in it is also a cause for concern, because the fact that they could be 0-3 going into week 4 is definitely something. They're underdogs in the game coming up against the Jaguars. Like if they are 0-3, that is like something that, like, can they come back from that division? Possibly, but like based off his quarterback play so far, like not really. So and there's just so much on that team. Like there's a lot of talent on that team for it to be like wasted like this. I don't want to say wasted, but like this shouldn't be an 0-3 team. And it just doesn't look great if they do start 0-3, especially because like the defense has done enough where the offense should be looking a lot better than it has been.
I still like where they are in as far as like which division would you choose to play in? Like that division is probably one of the higher picks in that hypothetical draft. I still don't like it. Like the Titans, I think this year is just going to be, hey, how good is Cam Ward going to be? And then for the Colts, I don't know if I'm buying 2-0. And then they get the Jags this week, who are 1-1, and I don't know if anybody's buying stock in the Jags. It'll have to be a when we see it kind of thing. At the very least, they played the Rams and the Bucks, who are probably going to be 2 playoff teams in the NFC. So unfamiliar, very good teams. You open the season with them. That could be where I see, hey, they have the Jags and the Titans the next couple weeks. Boom, 2-2. And then you get a real measuring stick against the Ravens. I think that is how this is going to end up. And then the conversation seems to be changing week to week on everything. I think that's probably where we land for the foreseeable future. But if he doesn't improve by the second round against the Jags, which they have midseason, now I'm all ears.
Yeah. I think that I would be a little bit more open to that conversation too if those losses couldn't be like directly attributed to CJ Stroud's quarterback play. But both of those games were lost because the offense didn't do enough, which is super
Yeah.
unfortunate because you look at those defenses and they are relatively strong as well. Like the Bucks and Rams defenses aren't like cupcake defenses, but the every, just everything is working well enough where if the offense plays like how it should have, they win both of those games, and they probably win both of those games rather convincingly. Like especially in that Bucks game, like they had way more opportunities than they should have, and I just don't like. I think that the conversation can flip very quickly as well. Like I'm not writing CJ Stroud off completely, but it is unfortunate to see that like after such a great rookie season, the fall off is so drastic that like he's getting like he can be directly attributed to why they have gotten 2 losses in their first 2 games and are like essentially not have their backs against the wall, because you can come back from 0-3, but it is a big deficit to be 3 games down in your first 3 games.